What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. The next generation of consoles have been out for at least a year. While 2021 has been filled with some really amazing games, there were other games that were expected to be launched in that particular year. God of War Ragnarok, for example, was supposed to be launched in 2021, but was pushed back to 2022. The result of this is that 2022 is actually quite jam-packed with some AAA titles that I'm really excited to play. This is the list of some of the games that I'm excited to play this year, in no particular order. Horizon Forbidden West. Horizon Zero Dawn was a sleeper hit when it first launched. This time around, everyone has their eyes open. We're all expecting really great things from this sequel, mainly because the original game just had so many cool elements to it, and if Guerrilla Game rehashed all of it, we might complain about some aspects of it, but I think we'll still all have a really good time playing it. From what we can tell from the trailers, they haven't slept on this one. They've added in quite a few gameplay elements to it that seems like it'll enhance the overall gameplay experience. The game launches in February, so we will not have to wait too long to experience this next leg in Alo's journey. Forspoken. I gotta say, I am excited for this one, but I'm also a little concerned about certain aspects of this game. The initial trailer that we saw for this game didn't have much. It showed Ella Balinski's character parkour around this really open world map, which looked really cool. I am just a little worried about the open world itself. It didn't look like it had too much variety around it, the same problem that Halo Infinite had. I hope they have a few more biomes than the green mountain rocky area that they showed in most of the trailers, but that is one problem of the game that I can see so far. The rest of it, as far as the combat, the traversal, looks really cool. It gives off this, something that you'd probably see in like Doctor Strange, where the specific hand movements that create these abilities. So there's a hand movement for ice shots, there's a hand movement for a water blast, there's a hand movement for like a fire blast. And then on top of that, the traversal looks like she can move around the map pretty well and pretty fast. Adds a lot of dynamics to the overall gameplay experience from what I can tell. And one of the clips shows her surfboarding on an ice shot. I think overall, the excitement for this game is there. I am definitely hyped for it. The fish out of water storyline, I hope they do it really well. It's very rare that I've seen that done successfully in any AAA title, or even like a really cool movie. I really hope they bring that element to the fore and it works out really well. Other than that, yeah, I'm excited for this game. I can't wait to play it. I think it's going to be fun to play at the very least, and that is usually where the game can sink or swim in this case. Starfield. It appears that the community is split on this one, not necessarily down the middle, but then there's definitely a camp of people that are not too hyped for this game. The other camp, which is the majority, are really excited for the next Todd Howard produced game, with Skyrim and Fallout 4 being advertised as kind of like a proof of concept. The idea of taking those elements to space is really exciting. Skyrim and the Elder Scrolls titles, you kind of like jump into it, they give you initial blurb about what's going on, and then they say, here, go play. The idea of taking that and doing it in space is really exciting. As far as single-player focused games, there haven't been that many that have given you that freedom within the space environment. Even a game like Mass Effect is going to be like hours before you get that level of freedom, and even then, it's quite leading as far as what they expect you to do and where they expect you to go. I think probably in Mass Effect Andromeda is where you got the most amount of freedom to do what you want and when you wanted to do it. Mass Effect 2, they gave the freedom to be able to kind of when you wanted to complete the final mission, you could do it whatever time you want, but then it was still, within the confines of this overall narrative. I think Starfield, given the roots that it comes from a Skyrim perspective, where you could literally go throughout the entire game without touching the main storyline, being able to do that in space, definitely, I am hyped for that as well. This is probably the best game you could have to end out your year. Just play it all through December into January once the new releases come out in 2023. Sifu. This game is coming out in February and it looks like it's going to be a hit. With a game like this, controls, the camera, and just need to be on point to be able to feel like you are a martial arts expert fighting 10 people at the same time with a level of competence. The initial impressions for this game are really good. I think those who have managed to get their hands on the preview of this game seem really excited for what this game is going to offer. The last martial arts focused game that I played was probably Sleeping Dogs, which was released a while back. I think this game does a little bit more in terms of combat compared to Sleeping Dogs, which sounds really cool. There are some additional elements to it that I'm also excited to experience, like the whole death and rebirth aspect to it. I don't know how that's going to play out, but I think it's just going to add a little more depth to the overall experience, and you become a little more cautious of how you play, because as you die, you get older. Even though you get a bit more damage, you also lose a bit of your health as well. Really cool. Can't wait to play it. It comes out in early February, so we won't have to wait too long to play it. God of War Ragnarok. I recently replayed God of War on PS4 again, and the experience overall was just as great as it was the first time, if not better. I think if Sony Santa Monica do almost the exact same thing that they did in the original game, I think most people will be excited. There will be slight disappointments, but I think most people will still be excited, because just that engine, the combat, the story, they were all as great. It definitely deserved the Game of the Year award that it got. It seems like this will be the conclusion to this overall story, which then brings up the question of what exactly is going to be in this story. There has to be a discussion about Atreus. There's going to be a talk about Thor. There's going to be something about Odin. There's going to be something about Tyr. Sounds like there's going to be a lot in this game. Something that the first God of War didn't really have. It had a really cool father-son story with some elements around it, but I think God of War Ragnarok is going to expand on that, while at the same time just adding all these different elements to the overall storyline. I think it might make the game a lot longer than the first God of War was, or just gonna have a significantly denser game, which means it's just gonna be fast-paced from beginning to end, which is really exciting either way. Like I said, as long as they got the combat down, which they did in the first game, as long as they got the personal relationship between Kratos and Atreus, which they definitely had. I think the standout character might be Thor. I mean, he looks awesome, but at the same time, we killed both his sons, so I'm pretty sure he's going to have something to say about that in this game. So we're probably going to have a lot of nuances with each of the different characters introduced. Tyr has been locked out for how long now? He's going to have a lot to say about what's happened in the last few centuries, I assume. So, you know, you're probably going to have a lot of great performances from all the different side characters. I call them side characters, but they probably just get elevated to, you know, being part of the main roster, which is great. Hogwarts Legacy. Oh man, this one. I love Harry Potter and that entire world. I have played most of the Harry Potter games, at least the ones that are based on the movies that have come out. I've always thought they could have done so much more. I don't necessarily want to be Harry Potter or play as Harry Potter, but I want to experience what Harry Potter experienced in the 7-book journey that he's had. I really hope they get this right, because the Harry Potter universe deserves a really cool Harry Potter game, or at least a really cool Hogwarts game. There's so much in this universe, not even specifically things within like the Hogwarts environments. There's the Ministry of Magic. There's the Fantastic Beasts that has been introduced after the fact. There's so much that the overall Harry Potter universe has to offer, and limiting it to movies and books kind of does it a disservice, because really there's an entire group of people out there that would just love to play and feel like a student within the Hogwarts universe. I really hope they get this right. I'll be the first one to give it a shot. I'll be the first one to tell you how well it does, where it succeeds and where it doesn't. Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League. A co-op shooter with the Suicide Squad as the main cast trying to kill members of the Justice League. That is something that I never thought I'd say about a game that's about to come out. I think if there's one thing that we can all rest easy about, is that Rocksteady know how to make a pretty good game. It feels like this is a passion project for them, where they were able to hone their skills with the Arkham series, and they want to bring that over into the Suicide Squad. I'm pretty sure this game is going to have level of polish that we can expect from most Rockstar games. I know Arkham Knights on PC launched in a pretty terrible state, but the console version was pretty perfect. So just using that as a template, I'm pretty sure this game is going to look and play really great. As far as the story is concerned, well, the premise just sounds really exciting. You've got these underdogs that are going up against superhuman beings. We're going to have a lot of laughs, some pretty cringe moments as we play through the storyline. Replaced. If there was a ranking to this list, this would probably be in the top 3, because the game just looks so cool. The soundtrack from this game, at least in this really short trailer, just sounds amazing. And the atmosphere just sounds and looks really, really cool. What gets me the most, what really gets me excited for this game, is what I think the combat looks like. This guy flips around enemies, he grapples. You know, it looks like you're able to like fight multiple enemies at the same time. Something I haven't seen in a side-scroller before, a 2D side-scroller. Mark of the Ninja kind of came close, but even that was more stealth-focused. If they nail that right, if they do exactly what they showed in the trailer, I'm gonna be a happy camper. I don't expect this game to play for too long, so it's gonna be one of those really short, contained experiences that could stick with you for a while. When this trailer dropped, I don't know how many times, I probably watched it like over 100 times. Okay, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but I've watched it a lot of times, and I'm really excited for just experience this game. And that's it. Those are the games that I'm most excited to play in 2022. Guaranteed some of these games are going to be pushed to 2023 and it would suck, but rather the developers make the best possible game that they can than release a game that still needs a bit of polish and a few updates to get it to the place that it needs to be. But what do you think? What game are you most excited to play in 2022? And do you think that it will be released in 2022 or will it be pushed to 2023? Sound off in the comments below and let me know. Thank you again for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to hit that like button. If you'd like to see more videos, hitting that subscribe button and turn on notifications will ensure that you don't miss out on the next upload. Thanks again for watching this far, and I'll check you in the next one. Cheers.